What's the deal? What's the deal? How's it growing, eh? It's OG Scotty B. Thanks. Just checking in. So this is when I was still on methadone. I like some of this stuff, like for the timeline and that, for some of these stories and that, it's kind of hazy. Like I don't remember whether I was quitting, but I was still using heroin and I was still on methadone at this time, and I was still working and I was working. So, and I had this fucking amazing BMX bike. It was like a 24-inch BMX bike. I used to always love riding those things. I actually raced when I was a kid, BMX, and I used to BMX all the time when I was downtown. But I like the 24-inch ones because I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'2". So anyways, I'm riding down the road on my BMX, and I had to leave work early to go. I had to be at the methadone clinic, and the methadone clinic was downtown across the bridge from where I was. I was still in North Van at the shelter at this point. So I ride from work, and I'm riding, and and this weekend was also the company golf tournament, which we would have a golf tournament every year sponsored by Cloverdale Paint, and this is the Cloverdale golf tournament. So it's a big deal. It's on a beautiful golf course. It's like usually a PGA like type golf course, and it's a fucking great time. So this is the Friday. The golf tournament was the Saturday, and it was a long weekend. So Tuesday was the next work day. So I'm riding down the road, and I'm on the phone on the bike talking to my buddy who's gonna get me some dope, and he's gonna meet me just on the way to the bus type thing. So I'm riding, and I'm on the phone ripping on this BMX, ripping down this big hill down 3rd Street in North Van, and this fucking city worker is putting up this little fence, this tree, like a little sapling. He's got one of those little orange kind of fences around it, and I end up wiping out into his fence and fucking rolling all down the street. I had a wicked wipeout, and I'm like, fuck. And so Buddy starts yelling at me and giving me shit about fucking taking down his fence because I wiped out into it. And I'm like, fuck your fence, buddy. I just fucking nearly killed myself. Fuck your tree, fuck you, and fuck this. And I flick my cigarette at the guy, right? So I was wearing my painting clothes. So in my painting pants, you have like pockets on the side of your pants, and a lot of times you're carrying like putty knives and shit. So I had like my X-Acto knife and my putty knives and that sticking out, and this driver, I guess, a pedestrian or whatever, or a good Samaritan, sees us arguing, and he calls the cops, and the cops come, and he calls the cops, and I basically ride away. I tell him to fuck off, and I ride away to go meet my friend. And then the cops come. They saw me on the bike. They got description, I guess, and they come and they nail me. And my buddy was like literally across the street, like across the main street at this other like A&W or whatever, watching me getting busted by the cops as I'm trying to, like, he was the guy that had my dope. And so it's like I missed my methadone appointment, and I missed getting heroin. I was like starting to get sick. I didn't have any, I didn't have any. So that's why I was getting it. So I was starting to get sick. So this cop fucking arrests me, and I'm like, what? And he charges me with assault, carrying a weapon or some shit. And I'm like, are you serious? And because of my past record, I was facing 6 months in jail, which is not a whole lot, but fuck, I just started getting my life together, man. And it was just, so I was just like, holy fuck. And I ended up in the jail cell all weekend. And it was a long weekend, so I started getting really, really dope sick. And unbeknownst to me, my boss came down there because I'd called him once I was getting arrested. I said, listen, you're going to have to find a fourth for the golf tournament. I'm getting arrested, and it doesn't look like I'm going to get out. And so he came down, he thinking, because he doesn't know. He thinks, because it's not like it in the States, he thought he could just pay my bail and I get out, but I have to see a judge first and shit. So he's like, okay, well, whatever. And he left my paycheck in the fucking, in my personals. He was like, okay, well, if I can't bail him out, can I at least give him this? This is his paycheck. So he gives me my paycheck. I get out of jail on Tuesday at about noon, 1 o'clock, and I literally take a taxi downtown to get, like, by this time I was throwing up all over the place. I was just a fucking mess. Like, it was back to, so I take a taxi from the courthouse downtown, and I run into this dude. It's actually, I don't want to say who he is, but and I'm hanging out, and what ends up happening to me was I did some heroin at that time, and I ended up fucking nodding out right in front of the injection site, and Buddy should have, so I'm saying the guy that I was with, I think he robbed me, but I got robbed. I got dug. I had the majority of my paycheck stolen, my phone stolen with all my numbers, everything. And I just, and I missed, the worst part of it was I missed the golf tournament. To me, that was the worst. Anyways, yeah, don't do heroin.